and go from there. This first one is an office building that was 80% vacant that sold to New Hampshire office slash apartment developer who doesn't have much in Massachusetts. I have an extensive history with this buyer, and I only deal with them by certified mail, so that they know and we know that we have the information. What happened, if you look, he bought it about 80% vacant. What I have from him is a brochure that he issued after he bought the building on December 31st with all these promises of improvements to come. Yeah, that's great, Mark. If you can just go down a little more, it's what he says there. The taxpayer contends that it's based on the actual sales price is produced by arm's length. What I told them was the seller in this case was Rockland Trust, which is a financial institution that foreclosed on the property and then sold it. So I told the property owner and his attorney that his claim that the sale was arm's length is not accurate. The thing that is difficult for us right now when it comes to larger office buildings is it almost seems as if it's turning into an owner-user market. People like IPG and other people are buying office buildings because they can buy it at a substantial discount from replacement costs. And the ATB still likes to see that income approach as their driver of value. So if you keep going a couple more pages, please. You can go past the assessment card. Yeah, keep going. There it is listed right now. And if I'm not mistaken, he doesn't even put in what he's asking for rent. All it says is negotiable. And then if you go to the next page, keep going one more page. There you go. You can see that this building, go back the other way. You can see there, Marlborough office heading to auction. So this person bought the building after the building had gone to auction. And then the next page, one more maybe. I guess there's no way to flip it, but everyone has a hard copy. Those are some office building sales that I came up with. Oh, there you go. I didn't know you could do that. And I also have other office building sales that we can talk about later. So what I did, I don't think our current assessment at the 8.9 million would be supportable. So what I did for that property, I offered him a 12 right there and then during the inspection. Hi, Tony. With the attorney, I said, I'll give you a 12% decrease in assessment for an office building that is about 80% vacant, and the tenant that is in occupancy has filed for bankruptcy. So we might be talking a fully vacant office building. It's kind of 1980s style with perimeter offices, and it needs a lot of tenant improvement work.
Okay. Did he accept the 12%?
He just said he'd get back to the owner. And he also, the attorney was from New Hampshire, He said he was probably going to be using, I forgot the guy's last name as an attorney, Dave Siglio, something like that, a Massachusetts attorney that does a lot of ATV work. He said he'd probably end up using him. So I thought we could, at least I put that up for discussion. But before we do that, I don't even know, call order, I don't know what you say.
Yeah, are we supposed to tell Mark something that we're about to start the meeting?
Okay.
Mark, are you there?
Yeah, I already started recording, so you're good. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, now I guess I call this meeting of the Board of Assessors to order Tuesday, April 14th, 2020 at 10:08 a.m. Attendance. Looks like we have 100% attendance. Tony, are you here?
Yep, you're here.
Yes.
Ellen?
I'm here.
Okay, can you boost your sound at all, Ellen, or not?
Let me see. Okay.
Okay, can you say anything now?
Is this working better?
Oh, better.
Much
Is that
better.
better?
That's 100 times better, thank
We
you.
can hear you now.
And
Great.
Dave is there?
I'm
Dave,
here.
how's your volume?
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you pretty well.
Good.
And
Is Mike on or off? I think he might be off.
I can observe. Hi, Mike, how are you?
Good, Tony. Yeah, I'm here. I'm just observing, so no issues here. I'm trying to learn how all this remote stuff works with the various boards and commissions. So I'm all set.
There might be some dancing bears behind us soon.
Intermission.
That's intermission.
This is our first one too, so we're all learning.
All right. As I said, we started, the first abatement request was 130 Lizotte Drive, in which the assessed value is 8.957 million, and I recommended a 12% discount, 0.8 million.
If you want to see people, you just have to click on that. But I thought you wanted to see the paper. So just click that, right?
Okay, we're getting some feedback.
And I just, based on what we had talked about, does anyone have any other questions for this property or comments?
So what's the current assessment again?
It would be 8,957,200. Where are we? The first one.
Just so you know, I muted Ellen, so there was a lot of background talking in the background. So when she needs to talk, she's going to need to unmute her mic if she's okay with that.
Okay, that's fine. The current assessment is $106 a square foot. And with the 12% discount that I offered, thank you, we would be at about $93 a square foot, which is still, I think, supportable based on the amount of tenant improvements and other improvements that will be required for the property.
Do they have open permits on it now?
No, he hasn't done a thing. I have a copy of his leasing brochure in the file in which he says he's going to be putting in an exercise center, a cafeteria, conference rooms, etc. But as I said before, I'm very familiar with this property owner, and my guess is he's looking for a quick flip.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll agree to the abated.
I have to pull the board individually, I guess, I was told.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull the board on each one that we vote on. I was told by the clerk's office we have to do it individually, so I'm just going to call your name and you tell me whether you approve or not, okay?
Okay.
Tony? What? Do you approve?
Huh?
Do you approve?
And then what?
Are you approving this?
Am I okay with it?
Yes.
Of course.
David Manzello,
Yes.
Ellen Silverstein,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, the next property is 199-201 Forest Street, which is, you give that, show that to Tony?
What number are you going in?
It's what I gave everybody, as the PDF, it's this one. This one is the charter high school. Essentially, I did walk through the two buildings last year. What the owner was saying to me, and I pretty much agreed with him, is the assessment card called them schools, but when you actually walk through the two buildings, there's no cafeteria, there's no gymnasium, there's no locker rooms, there's really no auditorium. There's nothing that really makes this anything other than an office building. And if you know, I mean, I'm sure you know where the property is. In actuality, they go next door to Four Kicks to do their gymnasium stuff there. I think they eat in the classroom. They have a small kitchen. So essentially what I did was to change on the assessment program for each of the buildings. I changed them from a use of school to an office building. They were coded as a high school educational property and as a middle school. One thing I did do when I changed the coding to an office building, I also got rid, it had a 20% charge for external obsolescence, which I didn't think would be warranted for this type of use in this location on Forest Street. Mark, if you could go back to the first page for this one, Marlborough Board of Assessors. Yeah, Pat. There, right there, go up a little more. You can see there, I put in what the assessments are for 4 other office buildings on Forest Street. And if we give them, can you move it just a little bit more up, please? Yeah, there we go. And if you look, if we change the assessment to call it an office building, the assessment would change to 9.362 million. And it's still, well, I mean, it's well within the range of similar office buildings along Forest Street. And in fact, since these two buildings are used as a school, they're used pretty intensively. I don't think the students take the same care of their space as a typical office user would be. So that was my recommendation for this property, and wait to hear your feedback.
Okay, this is Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
Good morning. My question would be, there is a third building, that the school also uses, the white
Yes.
building.
Yes.
So is that one assessed already as office, or do we change that one too? I think SMOC may occupy part of the space in that one.
The property owner had an extreme gripe with me about that last year. 165 is now nonprofit owned, and I checked with Harl too, even though a portion of it is leased, and I was provided the lease. The lease is to another nonprofit. So this is what the assessment is, but the city gets no taxes on 165. So I just put it in for demonstration purposes of current assessment.
Right. I just
So
wondered, I
that's
just for consistency was trying to,
Yeah,
sort of consider that. I'm in agreement with what you've done, in 199, 201,
okay.
and I'm also just familiar with the property, so.
Okay, Dave, did you have any questions?
No, I think you and I had discussed this one before,
Yeah,
so.
we did. Okay. Tony, did you have any questions about? Okay, then let's take a vote.
Okay. Tony?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yes. David?
Yes,
Ellen?
Yes.
All right.
What do we have to send?
Not yet. I'm just going over these.
Huh?
I'm just going over these right now.
Okay.
So the next property is 128, 148 Bartlett Street.
Yeah.
A little history here. This is a multi-tenant industrial R&D / office building. Some of the tenants have office and R&D fit up. A couple of the tenants are just strictly warehouse. 2 years ago, I inspected the building on June 12th, 2019. Previously, we had it assessed as warehouse. So I changed it, the assessment card, I changed it to industrial flex to reflect the actual use for a portion of the building. And to be honest, I think the taxpayer has a case. If you look on just the second page, I think that I provided, if you could go up a little bit. There, stop right there. That's the current rent roll. That's who's actually in the building. The only ones that have really office or R&D fit up are the top tenant, Preston Productions, and the bottom tenant, Varex. The vacant space is also, a lot of that is office. But the other two tenants are still mostly warehouse, as you can see from what their rents are compared to the other tenants. So I just did a new cash flow, taking $10 rents and what the rent roll was there. And I ended up saying, I think I previously overassessed this property. And I think a little bit, if you go down, you see, using this analysis, I was at $5,690,000.
okay.
And that's to the top page. I'm recommending an abatement of close to $1 million. I think I was too high before.
Okay. Do we want to vote on this one?
Okay.
Nobody has any questions?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, Tony Reuter is a yes. David Monticello?
Yes,
Ellen Silverstein?
Yes.
The next one is some vacant land, 6114 on Boston Post Road East. We dealt with this last year. When David did all the lot consolidations a couple years ago, this is kind of an orphaned lot that just kind of sits there and it's wet. and slopes. And last year, we voted an abatement down to $34,000. And then I don't know what happened when we updated the database, but for some reason it kicked up the value from 34,000 to 78,500. And I don't think that should have happened. So what I ended up doing is, based on where we are for land values now, kind of matching what we had previously, the value would increase to $45,700, which would be an abated value of $32,000.
Okay. I had a similar issue in Sterling, that a bunch of properties that I abated last year, when I did the recalc this past year, none of the changes took, so I don't know if there was some kind of error in vision with a vision update or what, but.
Okay. Anyway, so that's where we are on that one, and pretty much that's where I thought we should be. If there are any other questions.
No.
No questions?
Okay.
Okay.
Then I guess we'll call a vote on this abatement.
Tony Ruda,
Yes.
David Manzello,
Yes.
Ellen Silverstein,
Yes.
Okay. The next one is 313 Boston Post Road West. This one, for right now, I'm just not going to recommend any type of abatement. This was one that I was going to tour with the tax representative for the property, and he's made representations about what the building is configured like, and what's there, and what the, what it is. You could see, if we go down a few pages here, is something in writing from the tax rep. No, Scott, could you go back up a little bit? Yeah, that's what he's saying, but on a $9.7 million property, I'm just not going to go on what he says. I want to get into the building.
Right.
And I'm not going to start giving abatement on properties I haven't seen based on this information.
Good idea.
Did he file a 38D or no?
No 38D yet. What he did do, if you go, instead of a 38D on the next page, Mark, if you could go there, that's there. That's what he says. So it's not a 38D. That's what he's saying is in there. And you'll see not only this tax representative, but a majority of them. Can you push the page up a little bit, Mark? You can see right there, and it drives me crazy. You can see tenant improvements and leasing commissions. That's $250,000 that they're saying should be deducted every year. You cap it at 10. Every office, just for this office building alone, you're talking $2.5 million of value. I tell them all the time, take a hike. They say the ATV says that, and if the ATV says that, it's because it's vacant space that you're doing one time. What they're doing is taking one-time expenses and saying they happen every year. And that's how they always get down. Not that just this tax rep, this is the only tax rep that actually laid it out this nicely for you to see, but this is going to come up a lot.
Okay.
So that's for 313 Boston Post Road West. I'm recommending no abated value.
All right.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No,
Okay.
okay, we'll pull the board. Tony Ruda,
I'm okay.
denied?
Yes.
Denied, right? David Manzello,
Denied.
Ellen Silverstein,
Denied.
The next property is 32-44 Boston Post Road West. There we go. This is that little shopping center with the 99 and then a little retail building next to it. Multi-tenant retail and the freestanding 99. This is also the same tax representative, and when the meetings, when he sent it to me, I called him up and said, why are you sending this to me? And he said, because the client asked me to. And I said, I'll look at it, and I just said, I don't even have to look at it, I already know. That I'm going to recommend to the board that we deny. And he didn't argue with me, which they usually do. We do not have a 38D on this property. What we have once, I don't even know if Dan sent me anything. Oh, I did do a cash flow analysis here. If you could scroll down a few pages. There, stop. The restaurant's the 99. I forgot to change it. Instead of Verax Biomedical, it should just say retail there. And $30 a square foot is just, they're getting more than that across the street where Vitamin Shops was, that has a couple new tenants in it. They're up about $35-36 a square foot. This is abutting the highway. It's next to Apex. I don't really know of a more valuable retail property in the city. The 7 cap rate is very conservative. It'd probably sell on a 6. And if they say something about occupancy, then I would say that's probably worth more vacant because then you get to go to market. So I'm recommending a denial.
Agree.
any questions? No questions? Tony Arruda?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. David Manzello?
Denied.
Ellen Silverstein? Ellen? Can you hear me?
I think
Yes,
I'm
I'm
like-
sorry, denied.
Alrighty.
All right, get your seatbelts on for the next one. This is the Best Western. It's 78-1. It's 261 Boston Post Road West. I'm sure everybody has been in this property before. It's the conference center along with the hotel. According to the tax representative, the hotel has closed their west wing because of lack of demand for rental. I've been in the facility. In fact, I stayed there last year on multiple nights when we only had the one assessor here in Marlborough, and I was working here every day. It's in average condition compared to the new construction. It needs some work. And you have 2 new hotels essentially across the street. I went through the analysis with David. He helped me with this, in which we kept the conference center pretty much at its current assessment, but increased depreciation on the hotel until the amount of value attributable to the hotel portion was very small. Can you stay where you were, please, Mark? Go up a little bit. Thank you. When you did that, we were at $13,610,000 for our recommended value. I sent that to the tax representative. He brought it to the property owners. The property owners came back to us and said, we won't accept that. We want $11.5 million for this year, down to $10 million next year. I emailed them back and said, this property is 35 acres, a mile from Interstate 495, and a quarter mile from Apex. I said, you just can't look at your income and expense statement. This property has substantial value of land. I think your owners need to decide whether or not it, what I ended up saying, it needs highest and best use analysis to decide whether the existing use is actually something that should be there. And I said, I will not recommend any additional abatement below the 13.6 million. And 2 days later, the tax rep said that they will accept the 13.6 million, the recommendation. So that's where we're at as of yesterday.
Okay. So they're okay with the 13?
They agreed. They already have it in writing. They're just waiting for something from our department saying.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then the other thing I can say, this property, along with multiple other property owners, have called me asking, can they delay their May tax payment? Asking permission from me. I met with the mayor yesterday, and the mayor suggested people that ask me this. I don't talk to Eileen, but just forward, just say you need to call the mayor's office.
Yep.
Are there any other questions concerning this property?
Nope.
No.
No,
And they would have gone with 13.6 for 2 years, and I just said, why don't we just take it on a year-to-year basis? So they may be back next year.
Okay, so pull the board.
Yes, we pulled the 13.61 million.
Tony Ruda,
no,
David Manzello,
Abate,
yes. And
Yes.
Ellen,
Abate.
And then the last property is the other hotel, which is the Embassy Suites. Keep going. There. The Embassy Suites, assessed value 19.3. Not recommending any type of abatement at this time. The tax rep is one that's extremely difficult to get to come to the table until there's an extreme deadline. No INE was provided. I asked them to inspect multiple times, and this goes way before the COVID-19. Never got a response. And then if you skip down a little more to another page, past the assessment page. Yeah, you can keep going. Yeah, keep going. There's his certificate of occupancy for substantial renovations that he just completed. The certificate of occupancy was granted on January 31st of this year. And then keep going another page. Yeah, can you, there's the grand opening ceremony that is after his $16 million renovation.
yeah.
So we're assessed for 19 and he just spent 16. And then, so that will be in the file. Oh, there's a hockey game room. Okay.
Is the outdoor fireplace?
Oh, outdoor fireplace. Okay.
Somewhere.
We can deny that one.
So that's in the file. And then the last page, if you can keep going down, Mark. Yeah, those are the, in the file too, the assessments per room of the other hotels. And you can see the Embassy Suites is at 84. The Hyatt across the street's at 110. So, you know, the Hilton Gardens at 102. I don't really think he has a case, but it's just in there as a file server for right now.
Okay.
So I guess we would need, I don't know if there are any questions.
No questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Tony Ruda,
Agreed.
David Manzello,
Denied.
Ellen Silverstein,
Denied.
That's every commercial property. We have abatements that were requested this year, except for the mall. The mall requested an extension of consideration of their abatement request. Simon Properties sent us, along with every other mall in New Hampshire, or in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, a demand for an immediate 40% reduction in their assessments and a suspension for 1 year of their May tax payment. And then they request, Ken Gurge is the tax rep for them, and then he recently sent us an extension request, so something is going to be coming down the road with the mall. So I haven't really done any analysis yet.
Yeah.
I've been in contact, not with malls like Natick Mall and the communities they're in, but with other communities that have similar size malls, not in such an urban setting. The North Attleboro assessor, I talked with her, and you know, we'll just kind of keep each other informed on what's happening. I did point out 57% of the mall is in Berlin, but the assessor in Berlin says they only deal with these on an every other year basis, and she doesn't really care right now. So
No, she doesn't know how to do that stuff either, so.
okay, so that's
Is that Macy's and Sears closed in there?
I think the whole mall is closed, isn't it, Mike?
Well, did they, prior to this, did they close both those
No,
Macy's?
everything.
No, neither store has been slated to close yet.
Okay.
Of those two, I don't think.
The mall in Leominster lost both Sears and Macy's, but they also, that just sold this past winter.
I have a write-up on that. I also talked to the assessor in Leominster about it. I think it sold for 21 million, which is $22 a square foot or something like that.
Yeah,
And he said a previous owner, in fact, had come in with an abatement request for a 700,000 square foot mall, saying it was worth $8.5 million.
yeah, I remember that too.
So,
All right,
That's-
well, that was pretty good. We didn't have that many commercial abatements this year. This is good.
we were down from 120 to 80 when it comes to total abatements, and a similar percentage was down for commercial abatements.
Great.
That's it for real estate. We do have this personal property
All right,
that I talked about with David previously. The applicant is SGS North America Incorporated. And what they were saying is the The company stopped doing lab testing at 50 D'Angelo Drive in 2017. And then in 2000, no, you don't have anything on this, Mark. Then in 2017, they sold all the equipment, but they continued to pay the personal property tax per year. So they were asking for an abatement for each year. David said, you really can't do anything about previous years, but they're asking for an abatement for this current year. And according to their amended tax return, and according to what we have on our personal property tax sheet, the machinery is at value, lab equipment at $1,205,810. So they're asking for an abatement for that.
You got my coworkers here.
Yeah.
I will.
Oh.
So they're completely closed as of the first of the year there? Or you said a couple of years ago?
They subleased the space in 2018. They're no longer in operation at this location, and they moved all their equipment out.
Okay.
So we can abate them this year, but I would also, in the abatement, urge them to close their business certificate if they have not.
So we're abating it?
We're abating this,
For
but
this
that the
year.
property owner needs to close their business certificate.
Otherwise, RRC is going to keep going out and producing the highest.
I'm just wondering if they filled out a form of list, stated that they closed their business. I can check that out.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a form.
Yeah, all we have here is something amended. So do we need to take a vote on this? I guess, same as real estate, so.
Yes.
Is Tony Ruda? Yes. David Manzello
Abate.
and Ellen Silverstein.
Abate.
So that was old business. New business really was just what I said about the mall. Didn't know if anyone on the board had other issues they wanted to discuss.
I know we've brought it up a couple times, and it's good actually that Mark is here in the meeting. We are going to have to look into the upgrade of Vision 8 here shortly. I did give, I think, Mark in the mayor's office the quote from Vision on this.
And I gave your quote to Diane too.
Yeah.
The bookkeep, the in finance.
Because Vision is looking to get rid of 6.5 within a year, which is what we're currently running.
Okay. So I have that document, and it is not in the budget right now, but I mean, I can always request capital expenditure or something for that, but I definitely need to make sure that it's in line with all the cuts that are probably going to be happening with the COVID-19 stuff, so.
Right. Yeah, it's just something that we got to keep in mind that it's going to come up.
I know there's two phases to this. I mean, on-site and off-site. So I guess I'll talk to them and deal with them and see what we can do to make it less impactful cost-wise. So
Yeah, their online server costs. So I'm in the process of converting Sterling, Mass right now, and their online server maintenance fee was like ridiculous. It was like $3,500 a year or something.
yeah, they make it definitely worthwhile to go online, which is better for us and less backups and less on-site storage. I mean, they're going to have to sign all our the security agreements. They're gonna have to agree to audits every year, for so many
Right.
years. I mean, we have this big process that we do with companies that handle our data offsite, so.
Yeah.
All right. And you think it will be non-supported in a year or so?
That's what they were saying. I mean, it's on a very old, Mark, do you know what the Oracle database is that it's running on? It's pretty old.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just runs, I mean, we don't really do too much with it. I mean, so just
So
back
that's
it up every week.
Yeah, that's the ticking time clock on it, is when Oracle stops supporting that database. And I think it's expected to be within a year or so.
Do you have a tech contact that I can reach out to over there and talk? I mean, because when I talk to the salespeople, they have no idea what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah, I have a couple of folks that I can, I'll send you an email after, have them get in touch.
Shut them off.
all right.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Everything went well, I think.
Thank you.
I have to make a motion, I believe, to approve the meeting minutes of March 12th.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Third.
thank you. Third and fourth, agreed, alrighty.
Okay.
I also have some things that need to be signed, including the meeting minutes. Ellen, if there is a chance that you can come in anytime soon, either myself or Paula will be in the office from 9 to 5.
Okay, I will get in. Absolutely.
Okay, great. What else do we need?
Make sure you call ahead so someone will open the door for you.
That's right.
Okay.
We'll open the door if you let us know you're here. So
We're set?
I think that's it.
Thank
We'll
you,
do an
everyone.
adjournment.
Thank you, everyone.